Muhammad could not have known these facts about human development in the 7th century because most of them were not discovered until the 20th century. This is a leech, and this is the human embryo, about 23 days. I think you have to agree that the similarity between these structures is amazing.
The key word in both is al-ghaib. At this stage is known to no one except Allah.
The rapid growth and dramatic changes which occur after the bones have been clothed by muscles have been mentioned in the Holy Quran 1400 years ago.
Surah 79, Ayah 32 states, also in the context of creation, and the mountains hath he firmly fixed. Similar mention of mountains is found in several other surahs. It is permissible to interpret this to imply that mountains are rooted and that modern geophysics has established deep crustal roots for the axial parts of mountain systems at converging plate boundaries. We need research into the history of early Middle Eastern oral traditions to know whether, in fact, such historical events have been reported. If there is no such record, it strengthens the belief that God transmitted through Muhammad bits of his knowledge that we have only discovered for ourselves in recent times.
1,400 years ago, when the world was immersed in darkness, the Quran was revealed, which brought light to a beleaguered world. And whereas the earlier books came with many scientific mistakes, due to the hand of man having delved into them, the Quran had none of these contradictions. The world thought there could be no reconciliation between religion and science. But the Quran mentioned many scientific facts in great detail, like how a human being developed in the mother's womb, and described other scientific facts which amaze the world's renowned scientists.
Actually, I'm very much impressed by finding true astronomical facts in Quran. And for us, we modern astronomers have been studying very small fields of the universe. We concentrated our efforts for understanding of very small parts, because by using telescope we can see only a very few parts of the sky without thinking whole the universe. So by reading Quran and by answering to your questions, I think I can find my future way for investigation of the universe.
Muhammad was a very ordinary man. He couldn't have read, didn't know to write. In fact, he was illiterate. And we're talking about 1,200 years ago. You have someone, a literate person, making profound pronouncements and statements that are amazingly accurate of a scientific nature. And I personally can't see how this could be a mere chance. There are too many accuracies. And like Dr. Moore, I have no difficulty in my mind reconciling that this is a divine inspiration or revelation which led him to these statements.
يا حافظ القرآن يا حافظ القرآن.
I find it very interesting that this sort of information is in the ancient scriptures of the Holy Quran, and I have no way of knowing where they would come from, but I think it is extremely interesting that they are there and that this work is going on to discover the meaning of some of the passages. Well, I would think it must be the divine being.
Summary. The Quran describes not only the development of external form, but emphasizes also the internal stages, the stages inside the embryo of its creation and development, emphasizing major events recognized by contemporary science. Thank you for your attention.
As a scientist, I can only deal with things which I can specifically see. I can understand embryology and developmental biology. I can understand the words that are translated to me from the Quran. As I gave the example before, if I were to transpose myself into that era, knowing what I do today and describing things, I could not describe the things which were described. I see no reason, I see no evidence for the fact to refute the concept that this individual, Muhammad, had to be developing this information from someplace. So I see nothing here in conflict with the concept that divine intervention was involved in what he was able to do.
In a relatively few ayah is contained a rather comprehensive description of human development from the time of commingling of the gametes through organogenesis. No such distinct and complete record of human development, such as classification, terminology, and description, existed previously. In most, if not all instances, this description antedates by many centuries the recording of the various stages of human embryonic and fetal development recorded in the traditional scientific literature.
درب الهداية واضح التبيان يتلوه أحمد للدنا وهي التي عطشت لقطر هداية هتاني سبحان منزله.
Professor Moore was also elected to the membership of the Royal Medical Association of Canada, the International Academy of Cytology, the Union of the American Anatomists, and the Union of North and South American Anatomists. Professor Moore has published many books on clinical anatomy and embryology. 8 of them are used as reference works in medical schools and have been translated into 6 languages, namely Italian, German, Portuguese, Spanish, Greek, and Chinese.
It has been a great pleasure for me to help clarify statements in the Quran about human development. It is clear to me that these statements must have come to Muhammad from God or Allah, because almost all of this knowledge was not discovered until many centuries later. This proves to me that Muhammad must have been a messenger of God or Allah.
كيف خلقت الجبال؟ كان سطح الأرض قبل 300 مليون عام مكونا من قارة وحيدة، ومنذ 100 مليون عام بدأت القارة في الانقسام والتباعد، مما أدى لتشكل الجبال أثناء تكوين القارات التي نعرفها اليوم. إن عمق القشرة الأرضية الصلب بالغ الضحالة، إذ لا يمتد لأكثر من 40 كيلومترا، بل لا يصل حتى إلى 1% من نصف قطر الأرض البالغ 6000 كيلومتر، ولذا شاء الخالق العظيم أن يمد أوتادا مغروسة في أعماق القارات.
Now, no one would know that. Anybody looking at mountains 1400 years ago would look at like pyramids sitting just on the surface of the earth, but in fact their roots go down immensely deeply. and create huge gravitational anomalies. The Himalayas are very much lighter than the rocks beneath them, and you can detect that lightness scientifically with gravitational surveys.
ألم نجعل الأرض مهادا والجبال أوتادا.
Indeed, yes. Surah 78, verses 6 to 7. People don't really understand it. People generally don't know about mountains. The mountains and the earth float almost like icebergs. They are much lighter material than the material underneath. So they are set out with most of their mass beneath the surface, and in cross-section they look like pegs.
الجبال أوتاد لتثبيت الكوكب، فبغير الجبال وأوتادها ما كان للحياة أن تنمو وتزدهر على الأرض. من كان يعلم هذا قبل 14 قرنا.
أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله. I witness that there is no God but Allah, and I witness that Muhammad is his prophet. El Salamu Alaykum.
How scientific Islam could be.
I was rather surprised. You know, in Western countries we know very little about Islamic religious teachings. The Quran is not very much read, and the Hadith are not read. I think that the Muslim world does not shine its light as much as some of the other religions do in the West. But I was very surprised to learn quite recently of the scientific statements which are to be found in Quran and Hadith. I was very surprised to find that there are these statements about psychical research matters, which Dr. Yahya has quoted.
الله يتوفى الأنفس حين موتها والتي لم تمت في منامها فيمسك التي قضى عليها الموت ويرسل الأخرى إلى أجل مسمى إن في ذلك لآيات لقوم يتفكرون.
I was also very surprised to hear other Western scientists quote statements in the Quran about embryology and about geology and various other medical matters.
The stages of embryonic and fetal development mentioned in the Quran should be used when teaching Muslim students because they are in accordance with our modern understanding of the development before birth. It will also enable Muslim doctors and nurses to explain human development to their patients using Quranic references.
Some of those facts not having been discovered until the years of the present century. As the Quran and Hadith are some 1400 years old, that surprised me very much and made me wonder what the source could be.
Muhammad could not have known these facts about human development in the 7th century because most of them were not discovered until the 20th century. Muslims and others are justified in concluding that these facts could only have been revealed to Muhammad by the one who knows all about us, not only about how we developed, but how we live and functioned.
I would like very much to establish in London, an important centre in the West, as an Islamic scientific research institute to study science, especially those areas of parapsychology and complementary medicine which are so weakly supported at present in the modern scientific world. I have a duty to tell other scientists what I discover, and I have discovered certain remarkable scientific things in Quran and Hadith. So I think it's my duty to tell them that they should read these books, because they would find their scientific imagination stimulated. They would find new experiments, possibilities of scientific research would arise in their minds. So we Muslims should shine the lights of Islam on the materialistic scientific world, and using those rigorous methods of science which led to that materialism, reintegrate our brothers in that world with a little deeper truth about the universe in which they find themselves and about their own natures. Allah be praised. I called myself Abdullah Ellison.